We are live. You guys, I'm super, super, super excited about today, especially because it's a beautiful Friday and we get to dive on in and talk about YouTube in 2022. Who's been waiting for this? Who's been excited? Who here says, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need right now? Drop your reactions, your thoughts in the chat and say hi because I love to see who is hanging out. Amazing, 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 amazing. All right. So I am going to dive on in. Let me pull up the YouTube stream so I can actually see comments, which is awesome. All right. So I want to talk about YouTube today because YouTube has become one of the platforms that we did not expect would be such a huge business driver for us, a driver of revenue, a driver of exposure and awareness, a driver of leads, and so much more. By the way, who's all here? Say hi when you get here so I can see who's all here. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the chat. I see Yasmin, I see Michelle, I see Mia, I see Adam's personal channel, My Family Dinner. I like that. Easy dinners, freezer cooking. So cool. All right, you guys, I'm super excited. So today we're going to have kind of just a chill vibe. Anyone need like a chill vibe? Although my chill is still pretty high energy. I'll be super honest about that. But anyone needing just like a chill day, one thing I will say is you're going to want to pull up something to take notes on in case you have an aha. If you do have an aha as I'm teaching, sharing, training, whatever, feel free to drop AHA in the chat. Actually, let's test it right now. Go ahead and drop aha in the chat. AHA, so then I can know which things are relating for you or hitting home. Test it out. Let's see how it goes. I see Boston. I see Pakistan. I see Ontario, Canada, Australia, Missouri. Hello, hello. All right. First and foremost, I need to share a couple of things that are really important as we dive on in. One of the things that can occur when you're learning about things online, have you ever been going through a training and suddenly you felt triggered? Like suddenly you had that like sinking feeling in your stomach of like, I haven't been doing this. Like, should I be doing this? Like, what am I doing? Anyone ever feel that way? I want to give you a little action step that's been super, super helpful for me whenever you experience a trigger, especially with an online training. So I actually like to write down when this person said this, I felt this way, and I double star it because oftentimes there are gifts hidden inside of our triggers. Cough, 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 room to grow. And so that's actually been super helpful for me. I love to then get curious about like why I'm triggered, but that's not the point of this training today. The second thing I want to share, who here gets nervous or insecure at times? I will raise both hands so that you know you are not alone. Anyone ever feel that way? You feel like YouTube is only made for tall supermodels, or you feel like maybe only people who show their butts and have great, beautiful butts crush it on YouTube. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but if you've ever felt like super insecure, like this can't work for me because I'm not X, Y, and Z, or I don't look a certain way, I just want to tell you, you guys, that those insecurities, we all have them. And I just want to point this out because this really inspires me a lot. When I was 16 years old, I learned about the story of Danny DeVito's Hollywood auditions. Anyone know who Danny DeVito is? What I love most about Danny DeVito is according to the stereotypical traditional appearances of Hollywood, he didn't fit the mold, which I love. He was shorter, he was a little bit heavier, and he was bald. And so what I love hearing is his triumph story. And I know this is going to relate for some of you guys. This might be actually the aha that some of you needed. I learned this at 16 years old, which is really cool. So Danny DeVito auditioned 300 times and was told no over and over and over and over again. Can you guys imagine what would happen if he gave up? We wouldn't have The Genius of Matilda or It's Always Sunny or Name Your Favorite Movie with Danny DeVito. And I just want to remind you that not everybody wants to learn from supermodels. It's great if they do. Awesome. Wonderful. I mean, I'm 5'3" and I've got a postpartum mom stomach with some stretch marks. I just want to remind you that you can have success even if you've been insecure. I've been insecure too. I will let you know that. But I want to remind you there's so much room to grow and there's room for opportunity for everyone, which I love. The third thing that I want to share, and this is really, really, really big, is if you want to criticize someone, maybe just don't. Not here, not today. I'm literally here to support and share and give value. And it's not that I can't handle criticism. Trust me, I handle plenty of criticism every single day. But if you're here to say, like, Rachel, I don't like your hair. Your voice is annoying. Why do you sound like Legally Blonde for Business? I think that you're stupid. Okay, listen, this isn't the place. Go write it in your journal. Go talk to your therapist about it. This is not the place for that. Everyone say yes, drop a yes if you can commit to that. We're going to be kind. We're going to be respectful in this space. It's okay if we disagree, but don't bring your negativity to the chat and distract other people from learning and growth. Cool? Can we all commit to that? I'll be honest, I have 3 kids, and at this point, I'm like, I don't wanna tolerate that kind of stuff from adults. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I'm just kinda like, I'm just a little bit tired of that. And then if we do have time at the end, there will be time for questions. Cool? I can't promise that we will have time for questions, but if we do, awesome. Anyone say like, "Ooh, I hope we do," because that could be really fun. Amazing, amazing. All right. So let's dive on in. Now, I'm going to break down some of the backstory, which is pretty powerful. So, what's really interesting is I got started on YouTube when I first started as a freelancer about 7 years ago. So I have been a freelancer. We actually own 2 businesses, and this is super important for people to know because I know that this question does come up. I actively work as a freelancer with my team. So we actually work with clients still to this day. We've always worked with clients, and we still work with clients actively, which is so cool. And I'm really, really live. So in case anyone's wondering, today is February 11th as we record this. So when I became a freelancer, I first started on YouTube, just kind of recording an occasional video, putting it up there. In fact, my very first video is still live on my YouTube channel where I told people like, if you want an audit of your account or a plan, just call me. And I don't know how I thought people were going to call me, but I was really excited to get it done. It was a 2-minute video. I'm pretty sure it was so short. It was really fast. And then we also do have an education piece to our business, but we keep both actively going. And most of the time they kind of go like this. They grow and take turns, which is kind of neat. So let's dive on in. Now, we have been active on pretty much every social media channel. Quick question for you guys. Where have you seen me active? Where did you first find out about me? Probably YouTube, maybe TikTok, maybe Instagram, Facebook, social media. Okay, so cool. Where else? Where else? Where did you guys first hear about me? Because we're pretty darn active on every single social media platform. We like to do what we teach, and we also do what we teach for clients too. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Instagram. So you guys have seen me pretty much everywhere. And you know that we're pretty darn active across the board, which is fun. Also, at times, a challenge. I'll just be super honest about that. Now, here's why YouTube is quickly becoming a top priority in our business. In fact, just the other day, I was doing an internal ranking of platforms. And do you guys want to hear something interesting? For the first time, YouTube ranked higher on our internal list of priorities than any other platform. Who here is getting an aha already? I'm going to break down exactly why. Now, here are some of the reasons why YouTube is quickly becoming a top priority in our business. Okay, so number 1, it's extremely leveraged. It's extremely leveraged. What that means, anyone ever post on Instagram and you post that piece of content and then within, it feels like a couple hours, definitely within a day, it feels like that post is now dead. It's hit the end of its shelf life. No, it is not, Nick. This is not pre-recorded. February 11th. Anyone want to remind Nick? It is so not pre-recorded. When I say things are live, they are actually live. So what's wild is when you create a YouTube video, it has the ability to reach a ton of people. It is super leverage, meaning you create one piece of content and you don't have much additional work, whether it reaches 20 eyeballs, 5 eyeballs, or 5 million. So that is reason number 1 why YouTube is very quickly becoming one of the top priorities in our business. All right. Number 2, and this is big, the shelf life is long-term on YouTube. YouTube has a long-term shelf life. I have videos from years ago that are still absolutely crushing it on YouTube, and it blows my mind sometimes to see how long-term it is. Now, the shelf life of each platform changes from time to time. I've noticed that generally speaking, when it comes to like Instagram, most of us experience a shelf life of a couple hours or it disappears completely from priority within a couple days. I will say IG Reels is changing that game a little bit. There's a more delayed, longer term situation going on. TikTok, the shelf life is years, but I'm interested to see what happens over time, especially as they get more and more ads motivated, which inevitably does happen with most platforms. But also, like, I think about Facebook, and I feel like unless you have a lot of engagement coming in, anyone feel like your Facebook posts just get like they disappear really fast? Unless they're a super top engaged with post. The shelf life can be short if you don't have a system set up to continually drive engagement. Pinterest is a great one. That one has anywhere from 10 to 18-month shelf life per pin, which is really powerful. However, YouTube never really necessarily pulls your content out of rotation if it's performing. So you can literally reach people with one video for years. It blows my mind. Number 3, this is big. They have the search component, and I'm going to talk about how that has been so big for us. So, for example, whereas like on other platforms, we're pressured to share a lot about like lifestyle or make everything look perfect. I don't know about you guys. Anyone else feel this way? I'm in a place in my life where I'm really tired of trying to like make everything look always super pretty or polished or perfect. I've actually been over it for a while, but the truth is at this point, I have no interest in playing that game. And so what is interesting is we all feel that pressure sometimes on Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook to look like we're just professional photo shoots and we've got all our stuff together. So one of the things I love about YouTube is, let's say Instagram, we post something like pick from this morning. Guess what? No one's searching for it. Instagram is not a great search platform. Same thing is true with Facebook. Their search platform has absolutely tanked. And when I look at TikTok, they are opening up some search functions. However, YouTube is actually owned by Google. Is this news to anyone? Because this is really powerful. So because YouTube is owned by Google, their goal is to share content, or rather promote content that people are searching for, or sometimes serving them the content before they even search for something. Now, this is pretty powerful. And I'm going to share this with you guys because it's been a real game changer for me. If you actually Google right now, feel free to do this. I'd love if at least one person did this. If you go to Google and search for how to film a TikTok, what comes up in the top 3 results? Anyone want to share? Some of you guys can search for how to edit a TikTok. Some of you guys can search, those will be some good ones to start with. This is pretty powerful. Okay. Search for on Google, how to film a TikTok or how to edit a TikTok, and let me know what you see in the top 3 results. Anyone familiar? Woo! It's me. I love that. Anyone else see me in your top 3 to 5 results? I love this recognition right here, right? YouTube videos come up first. Anyone notice whose YouTube videos come up in the first couple of responses or first couple of results? What's powerful about YouTube is that it is powered by Google search, or rather Google search is powered by YouTube, depending on how you look at it. So what's powerful is all of these people are spending a ton of time blogging. Anyone else ever try to get into blogging and it is very challenging to rank if you don't know what you're doing, unless you're Rachel Miller, and she is so good at ranking. I love her to pieces. What's wild is because these two are hand in hand, by creating consistent YouTube videos that meet the needs of search, aka giving people value, exactly what they're looking for, you can actually rank higher than all of the blogs. Who here says, oh, this is definitely going to be where I want to invest some time? Who here says, this is intense, this is powerful, this is already telling me, yep, I think it's time to get all in on YouTube. Now, the final thing, and this is really big, and I'll break this down in a moment, but the ability to drop links. A lot of platforms have been kind of shutting down the ability to drop links. Anyone experience that on different platforms like Instagram or TikTok. I noticed that whenever I talk about TikTok on IG, it hardly reaches anybody. And I don't think it's because Instagram's audience hates TikTok, but there's definitely a lot more censorship that goes on Instagram and TikTok. So it's really interesting. We also see that at times on Facebook, which is why a lot of people get kind of shut down a little bit. What I love about YouTube is that they recognize that for many creators, they are a hub. So they preserve the ability to drop, share links, put tons of links in your bios, and essentially create a web, which we're going to dive into in just a moment, and what that web looks like for your entire business. Cool? Who here says, I've already gotten some cool ahas or confirmation of things I already knew? Drop it in the chat. The second big point I want to bring up is, and this is big, this is coming up for a lot of creators right now, you have less worry of getting banned or shut down if you simply follow the rules. Across a lot of different platforms, we're noticing things like videos getting taken down inappropriately, creators being banned for reasons that are not actually legit reasons. There's a lot of subjective decisions being made behind the scenes. I actually recently found out, I won't say which platform, but I recently found out that one platform in particular has actually a manual team that decides whether or not to either like ban creators or shut down their videos, or like ban their videos or block their videos or take down their videos. So if you're on the bad side of a moderator, guess what's going to happen? It's wild. However, YouTube is a little bit different. And so I wanted to share a couple of things with you guys because this is really, really big. Okay. Now, what I love about YouTube is the rules are simple, straightforward, and objective. They're super fair. Anyone else like me, I really, really, really like when rules are fair and, generally speaking, applied equally to everybody. And we've really noticed that with YouTube, they're super consistent. They're not just going to pull things. They're not going to just pull things from you for not breaking the rules. And so I'm a huge fan of that consistency. And I wanted to share something big. We recently got our YouTube play button for crossing 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which still to this day kind of blows my mind. And I wanted to share this so that you can understand the level of just care that we see specifically from YouTube. Okay, so we got this letter, and I wasn't expecting this at all, but we got this letter from YouTube, and you won't be able to read it, so I will read it to you. But this is going to show you the level of care that I see from this platform consistently day in and day out. It says, "You've just done something that very few YouTube creators accomplish. You've had an astonishing 100,000 people subscribe to your channel. We know that numbers on YouTube can get really big, but we hope that you don't lose sight of the reality behind that 6-digit milestone. Each and every person who has subscribed to your channel has been touched by what you create. They were inspired, challenged, or entertained. You achieved this milestone with hard work, perseverance, and probably a healthy sense of humor too. What you've accomplished can't be taken away from you, and we'd like to recognize you and all of your hard work with this Silver Creator Award, a small token of our esteem and respect. We know you don't do this for rewards. You do it because you have a drive to create and share, and because you found an audience who cares. Believe us when we say we can't wait to see what you do next. 1 million subscribers may seem like a long way off, but you're closer than you think, and we're rooting for you. Congratulations. Yours sincerely, Susan W., CEO of YouTube." And what's interesting about just the experience of weighing the different platforms and saying which platforms are amazing. Anyone say, like, that is so beautiful? Like, it is a letter that shows that there's a heart behind this business. And so it was really beautiful for me to see that. But across the board, I've noticed that YouTube's level of care is escalated. There's more customer service. There's actually responses when you, for example, file a takedown or whatever. There is actually a heartbeat inside of this company. And so it's been really big. And I finally, like, my eyes are opening and saying, wait a second, why wouldn't I go all in on the platform that cares a ton about creators? But not only that, there is truly a creator first community on YouTube. And what we've found is that YouTube is constantly pushing out resources to support creators. They're constantly hosting meetups for bigger creators. And I've really seen that this is a platform that I think is going to be around for a while, because when you take care of creators, guess what's going to happen? Creators will take care of you. Growing up, my dad always taught me this. This may be the aha that some of you needed. My dad always said, take care of people and people will take care of you. And I was just always like, that's such a great like line. I love it. I love the things that dads say. But there's one more thing that I want to share. We haven't prioritized monetization on pretty much any platform within the platform, but I'm going to share just some kind of big differences in case this ultimately becomes something big. So I can pull up my real stats on YouTube and see. We have mostly been unmonetized on YouTube until more recently. And we don't necessarily create our content or push out our content for the monetization. It's just kind of like a little nice bonus. So keep in mind, I'm not the highest paid creator by any means, but I'm also not maximizing it. So do keep that in mind. But we recently turned on monetization and we've generated $11,600 in revenue. Now, let me be clear in case anyone says, Rachel says it is so easy to monetize. I am not saying that. Drop a yes if you hear me on that. It took a long time to get there. And all of this is truly just like an added bonus for content I'm going to create anyways. And I think it's really beautiful. So I've really seen, though, that creators feel more secure on this platform. You can double down a lot more on this platform because there's less worry of just randomly or arbitrarily getting banned or shut down if you simply review and follow the rules. And I really respect that. Now, here's the next big thing. You ready for this? A lot of people think that you need to publish every day. I do publish pretty much every day. However, you don't need to do that. Drop your reaction, drop an emoji that explains your reaction to that. Anyone grateful that you don't have to work posting videos every single day in order to be successful on YouTube? Drop that emoji in the chat. I'm having so much fun today, guys. This is awesome. In case you were wondering, how does the monetization on YouTube compare to like TikTok? It feels like it's anywhere from 4 to 20 times the monetization that you get from TikTok. And IG Reels and Facebook Reels, I know that they've introduced those $35,000 capped bonuses, but not everybody has had those unlocked. In fact, they said like, you're eligible, and then it never happened. All right, so let's talk about how much you should post on YouTube, okay? This is one thing that really, really helps me a lot. There are different personality types. And I want you to keep in mind that every one of us is in a different season of life. So I'm currently in a season of life where it is a big priority for me to put out content every day on YouTube because of a few different things. Okay, so here's what is big, okay? More volume is just more data. Drop that aha if this is helpful for you. More volume of videos is just more data. It is that simple. So in the past, we've released like, let's say 1 video per week, and we grew quite a bit when we were posting just 1 video per week. The only reason I've turned it up is because I'm testing new things and trying new things and trying to get a lot more data about what people want to learn about. And so the truth is 1 video per week is going to be for most people a pretty sustainable pace. So please don't try to publish a video every single day. It is a lot of work and you have to know the season that you're in to take that on. But who here says thank you, because you do not have to publish every single day in order to grow and use TikTok for your business. Now, what's wild is when I first got consistent on YouTube was not 7 years ago. That's when I started my YouTube. So if we look at my actual analytics, it was around looks like March, April. Yep. March, April of 2020 was when we started getting consistent. And that all started with just 1 video every 1 to 2 weeks. So literally it feels like overnight, or it looks like overnight, but it really wasn't. We went from getting 5, 15, 100, maybe an occasional 500 views per day. And suddenly, like I said, it looks like overnight we went to 1,400 and then 3,700 and then 10,000 a day. And it literally snowballed from there. And that was just from one video every 1 to 2 weeks. Who here says, thank you for letting me know that? Now, here's what's wild though. YouTube is a literal shortcut to insane growth when you plug it in to what I'm going to teach you now. Okay. So this is big. Okay. The marketing ecosystem. A lot of people say, how in the world can YouTube build my business? Okay. The marketing ecosystem. Here's a hint. If you're wanting to start a YouTube just for the monetization and you're hoping that the monetization is going to be like your payday, this is me giving a super honest response and expectation setting. It's going to take years and it's going to most likely be a full-time job for most people. So while the monetization is awesome, it takes a lot of work to build up to it. A lot more work than I expected initially. So don't focus on the end goal of monetization, but rather focus on how you can use YouTube as a value add and a part of your marketing ecosystem. Okay. So here's how most people look at YouTube. Okay. They're like, YouTube is right here. And over here, I have my core offer, my services, my courses, my products, my clothing, whatever it is, my books. And they say, I don't see how people get from point A to point B. Anyone ever feel that way? You're like, how does making videos help me sell anything at any point? I don't see that connection. So when I started to really break down the marketing ecosystem with each and every platform, it was a really new way to look at marketing and to look at each and every social media platform. Now, here's what's wild. Okay, you ready for this? Because of the links in bio, you get the ability to fill your bio with relevant links. You can even put irrelevant links too if you want, but it doesn't help. You can literally have freebies and masterclasses and PDFs and checklists and Facebook groups and application to work with you. The link in your bio is the bridge. Now, this is important to break down visually because when you operate in an online business, sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, it can literally feel pretend because you can't see the office. You can't see the team every single day. You can't see how everything works. It's all kind of in the cloud and it feels almost like, are we just pretending? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this just a fake business? So what helps me is to be able to map everything out to see clearly the intention of creating a YouTube video and how that could lead to my core offers, but ultimately, really, truly, to start with, bringing people to my email list. So now I have their information in an asset that I own, which is your email list. Now, the other thing that's really neat, that's a game changer, by the way, everyone has the ability to put a link in your bio on your YouTube bio, which is so powerful and super accessible. So it doesn't matter if you don't get 4,000 watch hours or 1,000 subscribers. You have the ability to put links in here, whether it's to other social media platforms, which I don't recommend as much. It is important, but not as important. You can put links to your website. You can put links to a free audit. You can put links to samples, a trial, a special sale. You can update them regularly. So there's a level of accessibility that we all have with the bios, which I absolutely love. Is today becoming a YouTube rave fest? Yes. It's wild. The more I'm talking about YouTube even today, the more I'm like, how did I not see this sooner? It's almost like in the rom-com movies where you see the girl be like, oh, it was my best friend all along. I don't know how I never saw him. So what's so powerful is you can also take it one step further back. And we started doing this, and this is big. Okay. This is so big. So what's interesting is we started using other social media platforms to actually drive traffic to our YouTube. So what people see, who here's ever seen my TikToks or my Instagram videos or any of my content, you know we give a ton of value on a lot of those different platforms. So what's cool is you can have Instagram, you can have TikTok, you can have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want to have. And you can share, just like we just did here, free trainings, tutorials, step-by-steps, more value on your YouTube. So you can actually use those other platforms to drive people to the more long-term platform. Now, I've done this with TikTok. I've used TikTok quite a bit to be like a little trailer for my YouTube videos. So I'll share like, here are 3 of the 21 steps that I'm going to share, or here are a couple things that I recommend, and the full tutorials on my YouTube because it's too long to talk about in 60 seconds. So you can use all of your other platforms to drive to your YouTube, knowing that there are no issues or penalties with the link in your bio here. So what's powerful about this is suddenly YouTube becomes, in a way, a hub, and a lot more of a secure hub to drive people to the parts of your business that you want them to see. Who here says it's clicking? I see it. I get it. Some of you guys have heard this from me many times. I talk about the marketing ecosystem a ton because when it clicked in my brain, I was like, oh, this is so powerful. And it helps us to understand where each platform's place is in our business. Okay. So pretty powerful. Now, what's interesting is we recently have had a lot of spikes, and I'm going to share a few more things that are super helpful. People have been asking me, Rachel, do I need to do YouTube shorts? Do I need to jump on this bandwagon? I'm going to share with you what my results have been, but they have not yet been super consistent. Everybody hear me on that? I love to be super aware. So for example, the last month we've had an outlier month, which is reaching 940,000 views. So one thing I love about YouTube is they actually, they brought together a ton of TikTok creators and brought us together on a call to discuss, answer questions, to talk about YouTube shorts. And they answered our questions. I'm talking for hours. I came with a list of 15 questions and ended up asking, I think like 21 or something crazy like that, because I just wanted to know everything that there is to know about YouTube shorts. Now, back in the day, anyone have heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? If you have, drop a yes. Okay, so years ago, I was invited to a private event with Gary Vaynerchuk. And this was in Boise. I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant. And at this private event, there were a ton of former Vine stars. Some of you guys actually know the people who were in that room, including Modest Yahoo. Amanda Cerny was there. I'll hold this up for you so you can screenshot it. Amanda Cerny was there. And then a bunch of other Viners. I'm not going to share anything else about who specifically was there for a reason you'll understand. And one former Viner gets on the microphone and he says, hey, Gary, I have a question for you. Now, of course, I took notes this entire time, even when I wasn't asking a question. And he said, Gary, I have a question for you. Years ago, you pulled a bunch of us Viners into a room and you told us that we were all going to shoot to stardom, make millions of dollars, and that life was never going to look the same. And Gary said, and this person said, it happened. Whoa, right? This person said it happened. And what I loved was he shared that essentially, I love this so much. He shared that essentially he made millions of dollars. He crushed it. Who here remembers though, when Vine suddenly, almost pretty much overnight, disappeared? Anyone remember that? I don't know if any of you guys were on Vine. I hardly used Vine. But he said, the problem is when Vine shut down, I lost everything. He said, I'm sleeping on a buddy's couch now. And what came next was one of the most powerful sets of notes I've ever created. So I'm just going to share this with you guys because it's huge. Long story short, by the way, part of the reason that platforms don't work out long term is because the balance between organic reach, honoring creators, also wanting businesses to spend on ads is a very tricky balance for each and every platform. You monetize too soon, the audience feels taken advantage of, you monetize too late, you don't have enough runway. Most social media platforms need a ton of capital, especially for the first 10 years. And so it's very, very volatile. Okay. So I wrote down all of Gary's notes and I'm going to share with you the big takeaways that I had. Anyone say like, this is so much nerdier than I thought? It's kind of fun. Okay. So what's wild is Gary said, I'm going to give you advice for what to do next. And of course I'm sitting there taking all the notes. I took notes on every single question and answer from him that day. Okay. So he said, The good news about this is this will happen again. More platforms will pop up and give you the ability to shoot to stardom. He said there are more platforms that will give you the ability to make millions of dollars. Side note, in case you guys are wondering, are all these people making millions of dollars from that particular platform? Very, very, very few of them are making millions of dollars on that particular platform. Most of that comes from as an ancillary benefit from partnerships, sponsorships, affiliate deals, it fueling their business. I personally find the easiest one is fueling your business with any given platform. So kind of good to know. I actually would love to look up, I'll look it up at some point, how many YouTube creators or any platform, how many make millions of dollars from the particular platform, because I'd be willing to guess that that number is tiny. So hopefully that helps set some expectations. But Gary said these platforms come up every so often, and there's a few things I want you to look for. He said essentially, when you notice that a platform disproportionately rewards you for something, like you post a video and you reach a lot more people than you have any business reaching initially, that is a good sign that you have the ability to adopt early on a platform. Now, I did this on TikTok. We still have a small window for early adoption, whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But there was one thing that he said that was a key word that will stick with me forever. And what Gary said was you need to look for the platforms too that are desperate. Okay. So I had a call with YouTube corporate. It was pretty cool. I love my YouTube Shorts manager. And we talked about their desire to get content for YouTube Shorts. I love this tangent because it is a little like nerdy and it's kind of cool. I think some of you guys will get real fast. Drop an aha if you've already had an aha today, because I get really cool ahas from tangents and stories more so than someone just preaching facts at me all day. Okay, so he said, look for the platforms that are desperate and plant seeds there. So when I had my call with YouTube Shorts, I've actually had multiple calls with my YouTube Shorts manager from YouTube corporate, and they're wonderful. They're as helpful as they can be. I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for that support as a creator. Like, what the heck? So what's wild is I almost want to say, but don't quote me on this, I almost want to say that on that call, the exact word desperate came up. But don't quote me on that, because without having like the exact transcript, but there was something that flagged in my brain instantly, because at first I was like, nah, YouTube Shorts isn't gonna do anything. I don't see it happening. And all of a sudden I heard that word and it triggered me back to that conversation between Gary and this Viner. And I realized, oh my gosh, YouTube needs these YouTube Shorts, because what happened when TikTok came on the scene is they disrupted all of the plans of every single social media platform. TikTok is really and truly a disruptor, meaning that what Vine set out to start, TikTok came in and finished well. I've heard before that like early adopters or the pioneers of something, for example, Vine, you can tell who the pioneers of something are because this is awful, but they're usually laying face down in the mud with arrows in their back, because then the next wave of brands or businesses come in and they do it better. That's exactly what happened with Vine and TikTok. So TikTok came in and absolutely crushed it, where Vine fell flat on their face, unfortunately. I feel so bad for them, by the way. That was probably a very traumatic season for everyone involved. Oh, can you imagine? Okay, but I digress. So when they said the word or words similar to "we are desperate," I realized a few things. I'm going to give you guys some cool insights about YouTube Shorts. Cool? Anyone cool about nerding out on YouTube Shorts? So what's interesting is they shared, and I'm sharing their exact advice and feedback. Take this at your own discretion and wisdom. They shared that you can actually repurpose all of your TikToks and your IG Reels directly to YouTube as long as you pull the watermark. And they said, we want it all. We want it all. And at first I was like, I'm only using like a couple of videos from TikTok and repurposing it to YouTube Shorts. Are you saying I should test like all of these, including the ones with audio? Like there won't be any issues. And I'll break down some of the different nuances to this. Isn't this fun, you guys? Who's having fun? This is a great Friday. Okay. I hope this lights a fire under your butt about YouTube, because I am putting this out here, right now. Okay. So they said, and these are the words from YouTube, but once again, use your best discretion. I use an app called Snaptick.app. Snaptick.app works really well. I use it on desktop. Their platform doesn't work for me. So I use Snaptick.app. It does slightly desync the audio. And you know what, you guys? I have 99 and 101 things to worry about, and slightly desynced audio is not one of them. So feel free to just say, you know what? If Rachel doesn't worry about it, I'm not going to worry about it either. Yes, it could be perfect, but I'll be honest, perfect is the enemy of getting stuff done. So when she said, I asked for clarification on 2 separate calls, and like I drilled in pretty hardcore. I said, I just want to make sure if we share TikToks repurposed to YouTube shorts with audios that are copyrighted, like from big labels and everything, it's not going to be a copyright strike on our channel, right? And she says, correct. You may get a copyright claim, but those are not the same thing as a copyright strike. To the best of my understanding, after studying the rules and that conversation with my YouTube Shorts manager, basically, copyright strikes are the ones that YouTubers worry about, right? We all worry about YouTube strikes. YouTube strikes are mostly used for people who are trying to be sneaky. So they're literally stealing people's audio, stealing people's videos. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, if I downloaded all of Taylor Swift's album the night it comes out, and then I uploaded it to my YouTube channel with unrelated videos, that would be considered sneaky. Like, it's a workaround. You're trying to actually rob someone of their hard work. Or if you download a movie and then upload the movie, that would also be considered sneaky. Another example of when it can be used, a copyright strike, is when somebody, and a lot of people recommend this, so I'm just going to straight up say this, don't do this. Do you like my stern mom voice on this Friday? Don't do this. A lot of marketers teach to actually speed up or speed down audio so it doesn't get detected as copywritten audio, so that the AI doesn't catch it. And that is so stinking sneaky. It drives me crazy. So what happens is a lot of marketers will do that so that they can still monetize videos that use other people's audio. When you get, so copyright strike's the really big bad one, and that is for being sneaky. Here's a big hint. If you follow the rules, you're not going to get copyright strikes. They don't just happen to someone who's not stealing. Like, it's very rare. So just read the rules and you will be fine there. Copyright claims, on the other hand, essentially pull your video from the ability to be monetized, which has no impact on your channel except that that particular video won't be monetized. So one great way to avoid any copyright claims is to well, first and foremost, you don't have to worry too much about them. But if your end goal for your content is monetization, you can not use copyrighted music. Okay. So you could just use your original audio TikToks, although monetization is different for YouTube Shorts, whole nother topic for a whole nother day. You can not use copyrighted music as the background audio for your videos. If you guys want a resource that I love, it's one low fee per year. It's called artlist.io. You can get, with the one low fee, you can get unlimited background tracks for your YouTube videos. And you can also use those for TikTok. They're copyright free once you've paid, as long as you select those right ones. So who's getting value today? I'm having fun. It's a great Friday and I'm so excited. Now, what's interesting though about YouTube Shorts is, since they are not currently able to be monetized the same way as regular YouTube videos, there is some like kind of contest every month, it sounds like, and they're taking like the top videos from all of YouTube Shorts and monetizing those. They're still trying to figure out what motivates creators, which I really admire, because they figured it out pretty darn fast. Like, people want to get rewards and people want to be recognized and people want this. Thank you, Susan. What's wild though about YouTube Shorts is they have the ability to spike your growth on your channel. Now, sometimes, okay, I'm just going to use a word that explains this well. Nothing against any dudes here at all. It's just, this word explains it really well. A lot of times people will come onto my stuff and say like, well, you have a lot of videos you posted lately that only have 100 or 200 views. And they try to like mansplain to me why I don't understand YouTube, which is fine. But here's the thing. I'm willing to test things and try things so that I can bring to my trainings what's working now today. I love testing things so that you don't have to test them and see, does this work? Is this broken, etc. Which is why I post on every platform pretty much every day. So right now we're testing a lot with YouTube Shorts to see exactly what happens. And so I'm posting a lot more than I would ever recommend anyone do because I'm trying to see some patterns. And once again, as I shared earlier, volume just gives you data faster. So I want to remind you of that. You don't have to go ham the way I am on YouTube Shorts. I'm literally doing it so I can extract the gold, extract the patterns, the study, etc. So I'm super excited that everything I share with you guys is not hypothetical, but rather is tested and proven. Who here says thank you for that? I don't like sharing hypothetical information. Okay. So what's interesting is you have the ability to upload videos from TikTok as long as the watermark is removed with the audio from the labels. And that is really fascinating. There is a gray area that every platform has to figure out right now. And this is when someone creates an original audio video and someone else takes that audio and repurposes it to another platform. It is a gray area, but not a gray area for us as much as the platforms who need to figure out what's going on and how they can prevent that from happening. Now, it does happen. I've had actually a few people take my original audios, upload them to IG Reels and YouTube Shorts with their own videos, and they've gone viral. And what's interesting is I got so many messages, people saying, is this your voice? And I was like, dude, people can recognize my voice. That's really cool. So I just took it as, you know what? That is such an honor, but you get to decide how to deal with it. I'm not telling you how to deal with it. You can decide what feels right. So you can actually, if you find those videos or come across them, you can request a takedown and then they won't get a copyright strike, but they'll have to take it down within 7 days. So there's some power there. Now, the other thing that's really powerful, oh, sorry, I didn't share my results from YouTube Shorts because we're using it to just test things, try things, etc. I'm learning so much. We are failing forward on a lot of YouTube Shorts. Do you guys read between the lines there? A lot of my YouTube Shorts are failing. So I'm creating an entire list of the patterns that we're seeing. And I'm going to plug it all into Rachel's YouTube Academy. I'm going to share, here's what's working now for YouTube. These are the ones that are working. Model this format. Here's this script. Here are these hooks. These are the types of things that are working right now, specifically for YouTube Shorts. So we actually have started building out the entire module in Rachel's YouTube Academy that is all about YouTube Shorts. Which is pretty powerful. But I will say, so we recently, let me pull up my exact stats because I think it's pretty important. Okay, so with publishing a lot more YouTube Shorts, and I'm starting to see the patterns very clearly emerging, which I think is very fascinating. We had, oh man, they don't even give the analytics on YouTube Shorts yet because they're still so new. So let's go ahead and get this pulled up. I actually have posted one video in the last 2 months. I've posted a lot more than that, but one video in the last 2 months on YouTube Shorts that has gotten 660,000 views. But I'm going to read for you guys the stats on, let's say, my last 10 videos, and you'll see that these were all posted 24 hours ago, and every single one of these can grow. Okay. So we have one with 1K views already, one with 100 views, 95 views, 1.9K views, 45 views, 61 views, 388 views, 36 views, 64, 39. So what's beautiful is because, as you guys know, YouTube is a long-term platform. Who here knows that's not all the views those videos are going to get? It's going to snowball. It's going to have an exponential effect. And once I discover exactly what's working consistently for everyone, not just for me, you better believe I'm going to create those assets, dump them on into the YouTube Academy. But I am saying that we've got a lot of those patterns already figured out, which is really exciting. But I still like to test and try things, which I think is neat. Okay, now here's the next big thing, and this is really powerful. Who here has ever gotten the advice that you need to niche down? Anyone ever heard that before? You need to niche down. You have to niche down. If you don't niche down, you're not going to be successful. Anyone ever heard that? Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people don't know what to think about it. What I believe, really good question from Sherry. I will answer this one. I am still creating longer videos. I recommend that your base is one video per week on YouTube, and then YouTube shorts are like a little bit of an added frosting. I will say my content that is not related to marketing and business doesn't seem to perform as well on YouTube shorts versus when I upload my repurposed TikToks that are a little more personality or humor or lifestyle. They go pretty viral. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna share something that's big. I've shared this before, but this is huge. When it comes to niching down, most people actually got it wrong. They actually perpetuate this idea that the riches are in the niches because it rhymes. The truth is, you guys, niching is based on who you serve. Who here knows? Actually, niching is based on who you serve. It's based on mostly demographics. There's a better way, and that is specializing. Specializing is actually where serious growth and revenue occurs. Niching is the equivalent of saying, like, anyone know like the differences in doctors' pay? It's wild. So a doctor that is a generalist, who here knows that doctors that are generalists, family practice, etc., they make the least money? Who here knows this to be true? And they work a ton of hours and they are slammed all the time. And it is not as McDreamy as you would think, right? So what's wild is I actually spent a little bit of time studying this because I'm interested in like the field of just medicine and how it relates to business and marketing. I think it's really fascinating. It's actually specializing that makes a doctor be able to charge 22 times more. It allows them to work less hours and focus only on a specific set of skills versus having to know everything for a specific audience. And what's neat, so niching is about your audience and who you're going to serve. Specializing is about what you're going to provide and focus on and become an expert in. So a neurosurgeon or a plastic surgeon is going to make way more money, be able to set their own hours at times, unless it's an emergency neurosurgeon. They're going to be able to set their times a little more. They're going to make more money across the board because specializing is actually where you grow most. So I'm here to tell you today that you do not need to niche down. In fact, someone just asked me yesterday, they said, I understand that you're saying I don't need to niche down, but every time I create videos outside of my niche, they fail. And I was like, that's exactly right. When you niche down, people can find themselves getting extremely stuck. And I've seen this happen time and time again. Most people will speak to niching until they're ready to no longer be stuck in that niche and they find that it is not impossible, but very difficult to break out. So what I'm going to share with you is that with specializing, you can instead focus on other topics that can serve your audience. You can serve your audience with multiple specialties or expertise that allows you to serve people in a more comprehensive way within your specialty. So for example, most people have 2 to 5 topics that work really well for them on YouTube. So for example, if I'm going to talk about, let's say, organic social media, I would probably test Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Facebook groups, totally different beast. LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe Reddit, but it kind of scares me. Quora. And I would go on down the list. So I would test each of those a little bit and go back and forth. And within a few months, it's going to be pretty clear where your 2 to 5 sweet spots are. And those are going to be different for every single person. So for example, my sweet spots these are just the ones that disproportionately perform, are related to TikTok, Instagram, being a working mother, and freelancing. Although freelancing doesn't always hit the same way. So you can ultimately create multiple different topics within the same channel as long as they're all related to your specialty and it ultimately serves the same or similar audience as what you would serve in your business. Pretty cool. Who here says that's an aha I really needed? We're going to keep on going, guys, because I'm having fun. Now, this is really big. A lot of times people will say, and actually someone asked a question related to this earlier, which always makes me laugh. And that is, how is what you're teaching different to fill in the blank? Whatever, who cares what the name is? Not about this particular instance, but rather, who here's ever felt like you can't share something because someone else has already talked about it? This is something we've all experienced. You've thought, I can't teach on TikTok. Rachel's already teaching on TikTok. Or I can't talk about content repurposing because Peng Joon's already talking about content repurposing. Or, right? It goes on and on and on. Now, here's the thing. That is a limiting belief. So when someone says, how is this different to what so-and-so teaches? Well, first and foremost, hi, I'm Rachel. My voice is a little different than Sunny Lenarduzzi. You want to know what else? Ready for this? How else am I different? And this isn't just about Sunny Lenarduzzi. This is about a lot of different people. My stances on some things may be a little bit different. The way that I articulate or explain things may be different. I actually don't know what her exact methodologies are. So it's kind of neat. I know some of them. I think she's very brilliant. One other big difference, and this is huge, is I have 3 kids and run 2 businesses. And so I'm able to speak to some things that maybe let's say Gary Vaynerchuk has kids, but I'm able to speak to some things that other people speaking about the same topic aren't going to be able to speak to. Who here says, oh my gosh, it's clicking for me? Now, here's what's wild. And I share this a lot. This is huge. In case you ever feel like everything that is needing to be said has already been said, I guess I just missed out on my turn in life. If you've ever felt that way, I want to share something big with you, but first, coffee. Okay. Here's what is big. Okay. So, those, by the way, real fast, who here has followed me for a while? And so, like, there are certain things where you're like, oh, I can hear that in Rachel's voice. She would say that while doing a cartwheel and then like a high kick, or, like the certain kind of funny quirks that I have. Like, some people will laugh about my error laugh. When I say something totally wrong or out of place, I'll just and I error laugh, and it's not even on purpose. So, like, there are certain little quirks that we all get used to with the people that we like to follow. Since the start of YouTube, holy moly. Well, I'm so happy. Nice to officially like meet you, although I probably recognize you from other platforms. Okay. Now here's the thing. Question for you, true or false? Is the song Yesterday by the Beatles, specifically by the Beatles, is it the best song you've ever heard? Is it the best vocals? Is it the best rendition? Is it the best lyrics? Is it the best musical orchestration, composition? Is it the best? Drop a yes or a no in the chat. Oh my gosh, Michelle, that was so funny. Back then, I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. I can reverse my video and no one's going to know, although my hair like flips upwards, which is so funny. I remember that. I was actually in Boise, Idaho, connecting with my then client, Heather Quizzle. I was staying at her house for a couple days. Okay. I see no. I see no. I see a strong no. I see helo. I don't know what that means. Okay. You guys ready for this? Who is your favorite artist? Drop it in the chat. Who is your favorite musical artist? The person where every time that they release a song, you're going to listen to it immediately. Let's stay focused on this. Okay. Who's your favorite artist? Drop it in the chat. Is it Taylor Swift? Is it Lauren Allred? Or Lauren Allred, right? Is it Jason Derulo, Jim Reeves, Bruno Mars, Beyonce? I love this. Prince, Adele. Okay, so question for you. Who here says, even if I don't love the song Yesterday, I would love it more if I heard it from my favorite artist? Drop a yes in the chat if this is you. If Adele, Prince, Beyonce sang Yesterday, who here would give it a listen? And who here says, I might actually like the song then? because I love that voice. I'm familiar with that voice. That voice to me makes things make sense. The same thing is true with you sharing your message, even if other people have shared things similar. Now, this is a big point. Who's getting the aha? Drop that aha in the chat if this is for you, because I talk about this a lot. I really feel passionate about it. There were times where I almost didn't want to create content because I was sitting there staring at Amy Porterfield and I was like, she's so great. Like, she's amazingly talented. And by the way, there was a time where I felt that way about Sunny Lenarduzzi and Marie Forleo and Lisa Nichols and so many other amazing, amazing, amazing people. I felt the same way until I realized that some people want to hear it in my voice. Who here needed this message today? I feel like this is the best way I could share it. I needed to realize that not everybody identifies with the same voices. We want to hear different people. And what's wild is I realized that there are certain things I could bring to the space. For example, being super, super honest and transparent and not always having a full face of makeup. Not saying that any of the people aforementioned do any of that. I can share some of the real things. Like, for example, one thing that I can share that not everybody else in this space can is I know what it's like to literally have a kid projectile vomit all over their room and all over your outfit right as you were about to go live. And suddenly you have to quick go change your outfit and like rinse your hair out and get the barf out of your hair. Like, I know what those experiences are like. So who here says this hits differently? So what's wild is your voice is needed. By the way, back to the yesterday covers. Ready for this? Yesterday is actually the single most covered song professionally in the world. It has 1,600 professionally recorded covers. Why would there need to be that many if the original was more than enough? Because we all relate to different voices. Woo! I know it's like turning up. It's like as soon as some of the people leave, then we can like really turn up because we can really have fun because like the bandwagon fans are gone. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right, so I know people have calls. Now, what's wild about all of this is that your voice matters. Now, I want to be super clear. Nowhere am I advocating stealing. Don't you dare steal. Don't you dare copy verbatim, especially from anyone. Did you hear that? Everyone drop a yes if you hear me on that. Do not steal. Being inspired by something, creating a cover means to make it your own. That means that no one's going to say, why did Beyonce sing that song exactly like the Beatles? They're going to say, I love her riffs. I love that she added this one extra line. I love where she did that different thing. It means to make it your own. So you can content model. And what that means is you can be inspired by something and create something similar where very few people would say, oh, I know where this was inspired from. You do not want people to be able to say like, oh, this is Mona Lisa 2.0 on your content. Cool. Now I get really passionate about this because I know like a lot of us hold ourselves back because we're like, I don't know that I can add anything new to the situation. I'm going to share one really big insight that I learned on this journey of YouTube. What's wild is side note, I still have my Christmas blankets out. Anyone else still have your Christmas decorations out? We leave them out until like March because I love my Christmas decorations. They're my favorite thing in the world. So I'm like, can't we just make this house Christmas all year round? And the answer's no, but that's okay. They're still up. So, okay, this is big. When it comes to creating content on YouTube, YouTube likes to know, have we seen content that is similar? And they're mostly looking at titles and thumbnails, but also the general like feel, vibe, flow of something. They like to see, has this performed for other people in the past? And if the answer is yes, they want more of that content. So what's really interesting is like, for example, and I'll give you guys a specific example. Let's say, and I'm just going to go to my YouTube right now and look up someone who I admire. There's a lot of people, by the way, that I admire. Doesn't always mean I agree with everything that they say or do or the way that they show up, and that's totally fine. But I admire their persistence or their commitment or their consistency or their honesty or the ways that they look at strategies. So let's look up, for example, I should shout her out more, Vanessa Lau. Let's go ahead and look up her YouTube channel. So if I look at her most recent videos, I see that she created a video called, oh, this is so funny because I actually didn't see hers before I did this, because ready for this, you guys? This is gonna be that aha moment for some of you. I didn't see hers when I saw this. It says, starting a YouTube channel in 2022. This is what I do. Hold on. What? Who here says, wait a second, isn't that very similar to the title that you're using? Yes, and I'll share why. And this is big, okay? So let's look it up. Starting a YouTube channel 2022. And by the way, I respect most of these people and know them personally and think they're incredible, okay? Ready for this? So I look up starting a YouTube channel 2022. Ready for this? If I were starting a YouTube channel in 2022, this is what I do, 7 steps. Blow up in 2022, how to start a successful YouTube channel in 2022. How to grow your YouTube channel fast in 2022, how I gained 100K subscribers in 1 year. Here's mine. If I were starting a YouTube channel for business in 2022, this is what I do. If I started a YouTube channel in 2022, I do this. Who here is catching the drift? Now, here's the thing. You don't want someone to say, you took my exact title, you took my exact thumbnail, you basically just copied everything I did. You actually want there to be some iterations. But here's the thing. There's a reason why all of these are ranking at the top of Google when I search for that. Because Google knows that ones that are similar to that are YouTube knows, but Google too. They know that if something performed for one person, it's likely to perform for others. And they also know that not everybody's going to watch the same exact video here. So I'm going to read the number of views on each of these videos, excluding mine, because mine hasn't had the long-term time to season. Okay, ready? Here's why. If there's only one option, who here knows that shouldn't it technically have millions of views? Okay. Right. And no, none of the others should have any views. Okay. 560,000 views, 79,000 views, 112,000 views, 109,000 views, 48,000 views, 28,000 views. Oh my gosh. Here, and then there are some smaller ones, 29,000 views, 7,300 views, 5,300 views, and the list goes on. I'm still scrolling down and I'm 10 results in and I'm still seeing similar iterations of the same thing. Who here needed this today? This is the aha that you needed. Side note, one of my favorite things is to support people with experiencing a true transformation of your beliefs in marketing and business. It's one of my favorite things to do. As much as I love to actually just do it, I love to teach because I recognize the things that hold us back. Vanessa Lau, Lau, she's wonderful. All right. So here's the next big thing I'm going to share with you, and this is going to give a lot of freedom to those of you who have felt like there's no way that I can be active on YouTube because I don't have, and then insert a bajillion things. I don't have a professional camera. I don't have a professional lighting. I don't have a gorgeous studio. I don't have a copywriter to write a script for me. I don't have a fancy video editing team. Who here has ever felt any of those things and you've thought that that could limit your ability to have success? Drop a yes if this is you. I'm going to grab one little prop here because this will be fun. Side note, while you guys are saying yes, quick question for you. Does anyone have fun plans for the weekend? Feel free to drop it in the chat if you'd like. I'm excited for the weekend. I really, really, really love weekends. Okay, so here, this is going to be really helpful for you guys. At one time, ooh, Carmen says one of my shorts just popped off. Heck yes. Let's make that happen more consistently. Okay. So, right now, here's an interesting thing. I'm pulling up my real stats. I don't think I can share my screen here. And I also don't want to call out this specific agency in any way, but I actually hired a professional agency years ago to produce content for me. Ready for the cost? $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month. And what's wild, and no hate against this agency, I just want to make a point here though. When I look back at that season, let's pull it up. Okay, I was getting 83 views a day, 623, 15, 2, 9, 18, 106. My views were super low every single day while I was working with this particular agency. And I'm not saying that agencies are bad in any way, but I'm going to share with you that once I started adopting my own personal methodologies that made sense for me and for my brain and my lifestyle, everything started taking off on a new level. All right. I took it over. I specifically remember taking it over while Paul, my husband, and I were in Vegas for an event to learn. This is pretty cool. So what's interesting is I was like, you know what? I don't know why think that I can't figure out YouTube myself. I always thought like, oh, I'd have to hire an agency in order to grow because they were the only ones who could figure it out. But I was like, you know what? I want to figure this out. I think I'm pretty clever and resourceful, and I'm just going to give it a try. So while we were in the hotel room, I filmed the first of a 4-year stretch of videos, all filmed by me. Okay, you guys ready for some of this? Okay, so this is pretty powerful. I filmed the first video, and I want to make a few things super clear. I filmed the first video on my phone. Who needed this today? I will share, if it'll let me, I will share the link to this video so you can see. I edited this video myself. I filmed this video myself. I posted this video myself, and it was all filmed on here and edited in a platform that I like called ScreenFlow. I created my thumbnail in Canva. And by the way, there is still value in all of those services. Not everyone gets results, which is fine, but I want to remind you that even if you can't afford all of those things, you can crush it. So check this out. So here's that video. You can see it here. And this is so neat. I love that. Sunny, yes, so cool. So this video has 43,000 views. Now, what's really powerful for me is recognizing like, wow, accessibility is actually possible with YouTube. So I actually have this. I don't know a lot about cameras. We actually have a ton of professional cameras, mostly for our virtual events. I like having a really fun setup that we've built that's way overcomplicated. I just want to point that out. But I love this camera in theory. However, it takes me so long to record a video, upload the video, etc. So I'm going to share a couple of different things that are helpful. Number one, ready for this? Your camera does not matter as much as your audio. Who needed this? Who's getting the aha right here, right now? Your camera does not matter as much as the audio. That is super important, okay? So what's interesting is you can buy a really cheap lapel mic that plugs into here, or you can get plug-in mics that are a little more expensive that just plug in and pick up your sound. Now, I'll share with you guys what I'm currently using. I still record all of my YouTube videos specifically on this video. And if visual representation, like if you are a video person or a photographer, I will say it's probably important that people are able to see what you're creating pretty clearly, like a representation, okay? So I use the Logitech HD 1080p. I'll say it one more time. I use the Logitech HD 1080p, and the audio is pretty decent. Would you guys say my audio is pretty decent for just using a webcam? Can you hear me pretty clearly? There's not a ton of muffled noise, anything like that. That is what I use to film all the time. For pretty much everything except TikToks I film on here. Fun fact, when we switched to professionally recording our TikToks, everything tanked. I'm going to try it still one more time at some point. Wouldn't you guys say like this sound is actually really good? Like it's pretty dang decent for just one camera, like one webcam that plugs in. When I recorded on this, the audio is halfway decent. It's not too bad, but even just recording and finishing something is better than waiting until you can afford expensive cameras. Okay. Next big thing, and this is huge. By the way, you guys, there are ways that you can up-level all these things, but more expensive isn't necessarily always better quality. It may appear to be better quality, but this is a really fun fact that I learned about Sunny Lenarduzzi's channel. I did not learn this from her. I will not share who I learned this from, but someone who was involved in this process. When she up-leveled her camera and her lighting and her background and her location and had a studio, her growth actually somewhat plateaued and maybe even declined because it felt a lot less accessible for others to do. So it's really interesting. I experienced the same thing on TikTok when I switched from recording my TikToks on here to recording my TikToks on here. So you have to know your brand in order to know if professional is going to work best or if good enough is good enough. For example, sorry, I'm going to nerd out here for a second. You guys cool with that? Let me share a resource. I love hanging out with people. Can you guys tell? Like as much as I love like marketing and all of that, I love teaching so much. It is so much fun. All right. So this is a brand archetype guide. And if you know what your brand archetype is, it can be easier for you to know whether, oh, she did share that publicly. I didn't see that. So interesting, right? I'm glad she shared that because I feel like there's a huge lesson in that. Thank you for letting me know that she shared it publicly. What I love about recognizing brand archetypes, for example, I think we'd all love to be like the hero or the creator or the outlaw. I don't know what you want to be, but what's interesting is as I studied these different brand archetypes, I realized that try as hard as I might, the fancier I make everything, the less people feel like it's me because I am every woman. I am every man, every person. I am really and truly a representation of what it looks like to roll out of bed with day 2 makeup and wear my sweats while I'm working. Like it resonates with that audience. So when I make things too fancy, with small exceptions, it really kind of creates a disconnect with your audience, which I think is very interesting. So you have to know what's right for your audience. Okay. Now we've had professional box lighting. We've had professional umbrella lighting. We've had ring lights. We have all of those, by the way. The best lighting, because it's the most simple and the most consistent, is what I use in here right now. You know those like really cheap floor lamps that stand tall with like the second lamp head? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? If not, look up floor lamps and you'll be like, that's so basic. It's like $20 or $40 at Walmart or Target. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Yes, just my webcam as my mic. I don't use a separate mic. I have at times, but it honestly like the second I have to untangle cords, I get just like frustrated, and sitting there untangling does not do well when I need to just create a piece of content. So I just use the built-in microphones, and that's going to have to be good enough for this season of life or the next 20 seasons of life. Okay. Oh, Sunny said they're $15 at Target. So if you have a Target that's close to you, so the floor lamps are what we actually use. And one thing that I did, so we put one in each corner. This is going to kind of blow your mind. Who here thought I was sitting in natural lighting? Anyone say like that lighting's pretty even and decent? It's not professional, but did anyone think I'm sitting in front of a window and there's sun on my face and this is natural lighting? Some of you guys maybe thought that. Some of you are like, no way. Okay. I actually have blackout shades over my window here so that we can control the lighting and have consistent lighting in our office. So I wonder, I don't know if I can show you guys this. Let's see if I can. Okay. Ugh. Welcome to an inside look at the behind the scenes. So this is the kind of lamp that I use, and there's one in each corner. Pretty cool. Okay. Ugh. There we go. Okay. Now what's so powerful about that is, 15, 20 bucks each. We use LED lighting. So the light bulbs are LED lights. They're called like Refresh or Renew or Daylight. They have different names. And the goal is that it emulates or replicates natural lighting for just an even lighting that feels super consistent. If I wake up in the middle of the night, actually, I don't, I don't film in the middle of the night, but let's say this has happened in the past. Let's say one of my kids is really sick in the middle of the night and all of a sudden I'm awake and I can't fall back asleep. I could actually just turn these lights on and instantly have this light any time of day. Who here says that's more important than waiting around for natural lighting? Because sometimes in some seasons of life, The only time that you get to record or create is before the kids wake up, before the emails start, before the day begins, or after the kids go to bed, or after the emails stop, or after all the work is done. So for me, I could create an amazingly professional lighting setup. But every time that I start to say, like to my husband, I'll say, I think it's time to up level our lighting. He'll say, what's making you say that? Because the truth is, you love accessible, simple, easy lighting. And I think that there's something else that you could look at. And he's always right when he says this. He's very wise. He'll say straight up, I think that there are a million other things that you could look at before up leveling your lighting. Pretty cool, right? Okay. The next big thing I want to share with you is that less editing is more. You do not need to have super, super, super perfectly edited videos. In fact, recently, who here just realized this is an hour and 20-minute long video? An hour and 20-minute long video so far. And it's not professionally recorded. It's even a little blurry, but that's fine. The audio's just decent, consistent. The lighting's just consistent. But who here's realizing that there's no editing on this? It is not pre-recorded. Wasn't that so funny when someone was like, this is pre-recorded? And we were like, no, not even close. If I say something's live, it will always be live unless I am literally confined to the bathroom and can't stand up. But I don't even think I'd have anything recorded to plan for that accordingly. All right. Okay. So what's interesting, I just love this so much. You have permission to do less editing. For example, yesterday I recorded a close to one take video, which happens through practice. Sorry, can you guys drop that word? Are you all still here? Who's still paying attention? Who's getting ahas? Who here's like, dude, this is free? Anyone say like, this is so valuable. I'm getting ahas. I'm having things click. So what's wild is the more that you practice recording videos and get used to not prepping to edit, the easier it is to do one take videos. Now, here's the thing. I love the idea of scripts and teleprompters and relying on editors, but here's the problem with that. And here's a story about how I first learned this, and I try not to do this anymore. This happened to me twice in my life, and this is like, I hate this. So in high school, I was nominated for homecoming royalty, which was really cool because we had a huge class. I think we had at that time between like 600 and 800 students in our class. So it was a big high school. I think there are a couple of people here who are actually from my high school. And when we had to do our interviews for homecoming royalty, the girl who was in charge of them did not like me. She was very mean. She was, I don't know if she was mean to everyone. She was just so mean to me throughout all of middle school and high school. And she was the one who was recording. So she would ask a question and I would say, I have a question. Is this going to be edited? So can I like think about my response before I share it? And she was like, absolutely. Yes, it's going to be. Okay, ready for this? So the day comes for it to go live. And on each answer, I'm thinking about it. So it's like questions like, what do you think represents the school? Or how do you think? And the questions go on. And after each question, I'm like, okay, are you ready for this? So she decided to pull a mean girl move in front of the whole school. So when all the TVs went on in the room, I've actually I don't think I've ever talked about this. When all the TVs went on across all the classrooms and they broadcast this video of the homecoming nominees and all our responses. So they'd ask the question and then they'd share all of the answers from everyone who was nominated. And instead of sharing my answers, she edited it all so that almost the entire interview was just me going, oh, let me think about that. To this day, it still makes me kind of sad because I just don't understand that level of cruelty that you would do to someone else. So basically, in front of the entire school, in front of the entire school. They didn't see my actual answers. All that they saw was me saying, huh. And, the school got a laugh, and I wasn't expecting it. If I had been told we're going to do a funny edit on it, I would have been fine. But being really surprised by it, it felt so hurtful and intentional and personal and all of that. But that's not the point. There's one second time it happened in my career, and it was when I was interviewed for Entrepreneur Magazine. And this one wasn't on purpose, but the second time this happened, and there's a lesson here in this. So I'll share it in a moment. I was super pregnant. I was 9 months pregnant, and it's a video interview with Entrepreneur. And so I did this video interview, and there was a point where I messed up, and I said, you said this was going to be edited, right? And she's like, yes, we'll totally edit it. And I was like, okay, good, because I just made a huge mistake. Can I actually backtrack and re-answer that? And she's like, yes. And then unfortunately, probably through oversight, I want to give the benefit of the doubt. That was released on Entrepreneur with all of the errors, all of the me backtracking and everything. And I was like, oh. And it just felt like high school all over again. So what I learned through that experience is that you cannot always rely on editors. From interviews to TV shows to podcast interviews to video interviews, whether it's on purpose or not. I don't like to rely on the edit. I like to rely on editing as little as possible, because I've learned that on purpose or not, people are likely to miss the spots that need to be edited. And it can make you feel silly. Sorry, my congestion just came on. Now, what helps me is to remind myself of how to pick myself up after I say something wrong. And I will just straight up say, actually, I'm going to backtrack there. I didn't articulate that the way that I would like to. So I will just straight up backtrack live as I'm going, and I rely on minimal edits. Now, I did a YouTube video last night that I knew that there was going to be one edit in, and to prep myself to make it super, super easy, I clapped 3 times so I would see the spikes in my editing software. So I clapped 3 times right when I discovered the mistake. And then when I'm ready to redo that sentence, clap, clap, clap. But who here has ever noticed I leave a lot of mistakes in? I'm okay with mistakes as long as it's not detrimental to the overall message. I did not complain either time. I'm not really a big complainer. But I do hope someday I have the opportunity to talk to that gal and share with her what? I don't know. Maybe compassion and pity. Okay, next big thing. This is huge. Okay, ready for this? Videos are as long as they need to be. People ask me, how long is the ideal length of a video? Okay. What I love to do is you can create videos that are 2 minutes that can crush it. You can create videos that are 10 minutes that can crush it. You can create videos that are 20 minutes that can crush it, 2 hours. I've even done 2-day long events recorded and streamed. And so the truth is, what I love is recognizing that there's no such thing as an ideal length. As long as you're not just delivering fluff, but you're actually sharing things that people can either implement or aha or break beliefs for people, and you're creating a transformation, you can literally go as long as you'd want. So I like to sprinkle in stories, facts, steps, tips, strategies. I like to kind of give a variety of things in each and every video, because I know it's going to make it more entertaining. If I just want to share something that's just straight a tutorial or educational, I like to keep it as short as humanly possible, because I know that people are coming there specifically for a specific piece of information. Woo! How you guys doing? We've been going for an hour and a half. I have to get ready for my next calls. This has been awesome. Who here has gotten at least one piece of value today? Who's gotten at least one aha? Who here says, I think this might be what it takes to actually kick off my YouTube career? How you guys doing? Awesome. So good. Amazing. So cool. Now, I also have something interesting and fun. I have nothing to offer you. This is just a pure give. I will have a surprise coming next week for those who are on my email list, but this is just straight value. Pretty cool. That is all I have to say. I don't think there's anything else. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more. I'll be sharing a lot more. And then next week, we will have a really cool surprise. But today, I just want to encourage you, help you with transformation, support you with breaking some of the false beliefs that kept me from crushing it on YouTube. So I hope that this supports you. Feel free to watch the replay or send it to some of your friends. I will catch you guys later. By the way, it is actually the same link for the replays. Nope, I'm going to be late to my next call if I open up time for questions. So we're going to go ahead and just jump off here. I will catch you guys later. Go have the best day ever. I'm rooting for you all.